Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom, the show where we explore how smart choices can transform our health from the inside out. I'm Ethan, your friendly neighborhood observer of the human condition, particularly the ones stuck on the couch.
And I'm Alara, the one with a sharp mind and an even sharper tongue, ready to dissect whatever research and wellness tips get tossed our way. It's a pleasure to be here, as always.
Today's episode is dedicated to something that's apparently more popular than blockbuster movies: chronic low back pain. You'd think people would choose something more pleasant to be a global favorite, but I guess misery loves company.
Chronic low back pain is definitely trending. Last I checked, over 600 million people worldwide feel varying degrees of ouch in that region. It's like the worst club you didn't mean to join.
In fairness, I'm a card-carrying member myself. I can't say I enjoy the membership benefits.
No free t-shirt, no discount code, not even a secret handshake. Just the promise of stiffness and the inability to pick up your socks without a minor crisis.
Today, we'll be talking about a simple but powerful concept: lifestyle strategies. A fancy phrase for maybe don't spend 15 hours sitting in one spot while binge-watching streaming shows.
Or don't treat your body like a teetering statue. Body movement is more important than we realize, apparently. We've got some fascinating studies that outline just how beneficial small changes can be.
Let's start with the big takeaway. In a recent clinical trial, people with persistent low back pain saw a 1.3-point drop in disability scores when they combined regular care with improvements in diet and movement. That might sound small, but it's apparently a meaningful difference.
It's like that extra inch on your jeans after a holiday feast. Doesn't sound like much, but it's huge when it determines whether you can still button up.
The study focused on folks who'd been suffering from lower back pain for at least 3 months. One group did the usual routine, some physiotherapy, general advice. The other group got serious about changing daily habits and fine-tuning their diet.
They called that second approach the Healthy Lifestyle Program, or HELP. Catchy name. But did it in fact help?
According to the data, yes. Participants on that plan also got personal coaching, dietary consultations, and repeated follow-ups. They ended up losing roughly 3.5 pounds more than their counterparts.
People might scoff at 3.5 pounds, but your spine won't. Every ounce counts when it's stacked on your back. And these folks noticed measurable gains in daily functioning, like picking up groceries or standing at work without wincing all day.
One key concept was the complier average causal effect. That's a fancy way of saying if you actually show up to those sessions and follow the recommended tips, basically, if you do your homework, you see even better results.
And they did. Those who really stuck with the program got a 5.4-point improvement in back pain-related disability. That's the difference between thinking twice about stepping off a curb and strolling through a neighborhood block party with minimal issues.
Now, I know many of us daydream about a magic pill that fixes our back problems. But the real magic appears to be the synergy of simple habits, like better nutrition, more activity, and consistent follow-through.
Think of it as building a house. You can't just put up one beam and call it a day. You need a strong foundation, stable walls, and a reliable roof. In this case, that foundation is a healthy weight, plus active muscles around your core.
While we're talking lifestyle, let's also chat about the workplace. There was another study that turned office routines upside down. Well, maybe more like upright.
Right, the stand back trial. The name might sound like a superhero catchphrase, but it's literally about standing more. It focused on folks with chronic back issues who work at desks for at least 20 hours a week.
They split them into 2 groups. The control group got standard guidance. Try not to sit too long, that kind of thing. The other group received monthly in-person coaching, phone check-ins, adjustable sit-stand desks, and even a wrist-worn device that vibrated when they'd been seated too long.
A wrist device that pokes you if you're turning into a statue. I can just imagine it. Buzz, you've been sitting for 25 minutes. Get up, lazy bones.
I'd be tempted to slap that device off after the 3rd buzz, but apparently it worked. The group that adopted this plan had a 50% drop in disability compared to a 14% drop in the control group. That's not just a margin, it's a landslide victory.
They also slashed their sitting time by about 1.4 hours a day. And when you add up all those minutes of standing and short walks over months, you're looking at a major difference. The moral of the story is simple. If you want your back to stop revolting, don't hold it hostage in a chair all day.
They also used a dash of cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a nice reminder that how you think about your pain matters. If you're convinced any movement will make things worse, you'll avoid it. But ironically, that could make things worse.
Exactly. Muscles get weak if they're never used. Then the next time you do any movement, even a mild one, it feels like climbing Everest. So the coaching included ways to ease fear avoidance and build confidence that standing up every half hour isn't going to cause your spine to implode.
People also mentioned feeling more energized. I guess standing helps with blood flow, which helps keep you awake. It's certainly better than slumping over the keyboard with your spine shaped like a question mark.
Next, I want to mention a comprehensive review that combined several studies. It concluded that mixing exercise programs with cognitive or motivational therapy works best. Single-pronged approaches were good, but not as good as a multi-tool solution.
Makes sense. If your back is in constant pain, it might take a combination of improved muscle strength, daily movement, and a more positive outlook on activity. This is a situation where synergy is worth its weight in gold.
Some of the top performers in that review included lumbar stabilization exercises, targeting muscles that support the spine, and resistance training to build overall strength in the torso and hips.
Picture it as forming a protective fortress around your spine. If your core is stable, your spine doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting.
And that mental piece is a biggie. If you think you'll fall apart when you move, you'll likely restrict your movements. That makes pain more intense when you finally do move. It's a vicious cycle.
So the best approach is to break out of that cycle with gradual, strategic exercises and a mindset that says, I can handle this.
Exactly. Let's shift into practical ways to address back pain at its roots. It's not rocket science. Anyone can build these into daily life, even if you're as busy as a juggler with flaming torches.
Step 1. Walking. Sounds too simple, but that's the point. All you need are comfortable shoes. Short walks loosen up those tight muscles, keep the spine from getting jammed, and boost circulation.
Plus, it's free and doesn't require fancy lycra. If you can walk to the mailbox, do it. If you can stretch that to a half-mile loop, even better. Add these mini walks throughout your day, and you'll be surprised how things loosen up over time.
Step 2. Rearrange your sitting pattern. If you spend your workday at a desk, set a timer, or trust your watch, or rely on that wrist buzz contraption if you have one. Every half hour, stand up, stretch, or do a lap around the office.
You don't even have to be weird about it. Like yelling, I'm going on my mandated posture break. Just stand, roll your shoulders, do a quick squat or two if no one's looking. Your spine will thank you, and your coworkers will either admire your dedication or wonder if you joined a secret workout cult.
Step 3. Strengthen your core and other support muscles. Don't worry, nobody's demanding you do 1,000 sit-ups a day. It's more about deliberate exercises that keep your abs, hips, and lower back working together.
Things like a plank, bird dog, or glute bridge. It sounds like we're naming yoga poses for exotic animals, but these are simple moves that help your body unify its support system.
Step 4. Incorporate movement breaks that fight stress. Tense muscles can hurt more. Taking a deep breath, doing a slow overhead stretch, or rolling your neck can relieve physical tension.
And mental tension too, because that creeping dread of, oh no, my back is about to kill me, can exaggerate pain signals. A mini relaxation break can snap you out of that spiral.
Finally, step 5. Watch your nutrition and weight. Lugging around extra pounds is like wearing a weighted vest every day. You're constantly pressuring your spine.
Simple shifts can help. Less junk food, fewer seed oils, especially those high in linoleic acid, and more whole foods that give your cells the nutrients they need. Your back might be the first to send you a thank you note.
Now, none of this is an overnight miracle. It's not the instant gratification we've gotten used to in a world of fast everything. But these tiny lifestyle tweaks can compound into major relief over the long run.
It's like investing in a steady, reliable stock. Each day you put in a little bit, and over time the returns grow, and you wonder why you didn't start sooner.
It's comforting to know there's more you can do than just pop pills or resign yourself to that signature old man gait before you're even old.
And you don't need to be an athlete or a contortionist. The idea is consistency, not heroic feats of strength. Just do enough to create a supportive environment for your spine.
Let's also highlight how important it is to reframe the mental side. If you avoid all movement because you fear pain, you end up stiff, weak, and ironically, in even more discomfort.
It's like being scared of drowning so you never learn to swim, but then you're stuck on the shore every time you go to the beach. Getting comfortable with gentle movement is crucial.
That's where coaching or counseling comes in. A little reassurance that you're not going to spontaneously combust if you bend at the waist can go a long way.
Or if you do spontaneously combust, you'll at least know you gave it your best shot. But realistically, you won't combust. You'll simply strengthen your muscles, lighten the load on your spine, and gradually notice less pain.
The studies we mentioned all reinforce that same core principle. Chronic back pain often has multiple influences: weight, posture, sedentary habits, tension. Address each piece and you'll typically see improvement.
And it's never too late to start. Whether you're 20 or 60, whether you've been dealing with this for 6 months or 6 years, the body's surprisingly responsive when we meet it halfway.
I love that phrase, meet it halfway. Don't expect your body to do all the work without your input. If we feed it ultra-processed foods and leave it to mold itself to an office chair, it's going to fight back with pain signals.
Exactly. On the flip side, it doesn't have to be a complete life overhaul overnight. Just break that cycle of inactivity bit by bit.
So, where do we stand now? We've got evidence that a mix of simple exercise, posture awareness, mental reframing, and improved nutrition can yield real relief. We've got proof that even half-hour standing breaks at work create a major impact.
You're not helpless in the face of chronic back pain. Yes, it might take effort and consistency, but I'd say it's preferable to being stuck with stiffness and that daily struggle to bend down for the pen you dropped.
Indeed. Well, that's our deep dive into how small, thoughtful habits can make a big difference in chronic low back pain. It's not rocket science, but it is an art. The art of listening to your body and giving it what it needs.
And hey, if it means losing a few extra pounds and cutting out that third coffee and donut break, your body might just reward you with less creaking and groaning.
On that uplifting note, we'll wrap up today's conversation. Remember, you don't need to be a superhero to have a healthy back, just a consistent everyday mortal doing those little things that add up.
That's all for today on Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you'll join us next time. I'm Alara, signing off with a reminder to stand tall and keep those muscles guessing.
And I'm Ethan, encouraging you to pace around the house if you've been seated for too long. Your future self and your back will thank you. Take care, everyone.